So in this video, we'll just take a closer look at these Garmin watches that I have bought used on some flea market here in my country. You can see this is my local price, but just around €5 for this one, and probably like €4.50 for this. Pretty much the same in dollars as well. These are those older style Forerunner watches from Garmin. I've never actually owned any of these watches back then because I used my smartphone to track my runs. So I thought in this video would just be fun to kind of unbox it, have a closer look and see if these watches actually do work. So one of them comes in this original packaging, which was one of the reasons why I wanted to get this one. I actually bought this one first, but yeah, it's in its bag. I haven't really taken a closer look at it yet. I've had it laying around for several months. This one in its original packaging, I just couldn't resist. Not because I need any of these watches, but just because I think it's a little bit fun to take a closer look at these like older technologies and see how far we have actually come. So let's just cut through this band here and have a closer look at the box. So GPS-enabled trainer for runners. You can store and review up to 1,000 laps. Detailed post-run analytics on PC and Mac. Oh, that's right, yeah. You couldn't really hook these up to a smartphone. This is before that time, so you had to hook it up to a computer to actually sync it with the software. You have Garmin Training Center software included as well. I'm not really sure that software works anymore. Create and schedule workouts. Yes. And you can see that big chunk of a watch there compared to like a modern watch. Just gotten so far, just so much better, faster and everything. So obviously this is the Forerunner 205 or whatever they have inside the packaging with a high sensitive GPS receiver, sleek one-piece device, improved reception near trees and buildings, and rechargeable lithium-ion battery. And according to a quick Google search, you can see here the Forerunner 205, and I believe this is the 305. Yeah, this is the 305. They came out in March of 2006, and the package contains the Forerunner 205, Garmin Training Center software for PC and Mac, and a docking cradle, expander strap, AC charger, USB cable, owner's manual, and quick start guide. I'm not really sure if everything is included, but let's just have a look and see what we actually get inside the box. Exciting, exciting. I do definitely see a charger, a power adapter assembling instructions, and it's even an original charger from Garmin. So USB type A, one end, and this is just a European plug. So this is a 5 volt, 500 milliamp hours charger, and the other end we do have the cradle, which we do need because you can't really just plug it in directly with the cable. This is just mini USB and actually pretty well packed. Seems like this guy or girl actually took good care of the products. So we have the watch, which is in pretty decent condition because it does have some scratches, some things here and there, but the screen overall seems to be pretty okay. Some minor scratches right up here, but yeah, this of course is just a plastic screen. Start, stop, left button, up and down button. All of them do feel pretty okay. Little mushy buttons, but I do hear a click, so I suppose those will work. On the bottom side, we do have those 3 connectors, or 4 connectors, excuse me, to connect it up to the cradle, which of course is the way you're going to charge this one. What do you do? Just click in place and not really the best design, but yeah, this is the way you charge it, and also of course sync it to your computer. They've been made in Taiwan. And is this a little speaker or a little beeper? Pretty basic silicone strap. This is pretty awful actually, very stiff. I'm not really sure I want to touch it too much because yeah, it's got somebody else's sweat on there. So let's just put the watch to the side for now and see what else we get in the box. We do also get the longer strap included, so if you have bigger wrists, you are well covered here as well. Also, actually a little tool to take the strap out. That's quite nice. And how to use this. This watch, there's not really any room for the tool to get in between the band and the watch frame. So I guess you have to poke it out here from the side, and this tool doesn't really fit in there. So I'm not really sure this is a genuine Garmin tool. They do also have instructions, and feels like they actually have a CD as well. That's quite nice. I don't really have a compact disc or a CD player in my computer, but it does include the Garmin Training Center. Not really sure if you can actually download this still from Garmin's website. And I'm not really going to install it on my computer, so this is not a Garmin Training Center video. but that's pretty cool that it's included. It actually looks like it's brand new. The owner probably just went online and downloaded it from there, or maybe never connected it to the computer. And instructions as well seem to have been not used or never used really. In excellent condition. Of course, you can get the chest strap as well. Again, looks very basic. We have come a long way since these type of chest straps. I can remember those. Very uncomfortable and actually quite nice just to go through all of the buttons, because I don't have any experience using these watches. So it seems like button 1 is for power and also backlight. Button 2 is for mode, to view timer, main menu, press exit menu or page, and press and hold to change sports. 3 is just lap, reset. 4 is start, stop. I believe those are also labeled. Yeah, you can also see there's a reset there, but lap, start, stop. Yeah, and all of them are actually also labeled here, power and everything. So don't really need instructions for that. Enter, you press that to select options to acknowledge messages. Nice. And of course, arrow keys up and down, charging the batteries, mini USB and everything. And the GPS antenna is, of course, on the big portion of the watch right here. Heart rate monitor. I don't think that was included, but something you probably could get in a bundle. But yeah, very old style chest strap. Push yourself, push your Forerunner. Okay, some commercials and some important battery information. So that's pretty nice actually that the seller have kept all of this stuff. Let's just try and turn it on and see if there's any power or any juice left. And no, sadly, there is none. So let's just plug it in, get it to charge, or if it even works at all. I'm definitely going to wash my fingers after this, but oh, it says battery charging in my local language. Oh, and it does have some kind of screensaver. You can see it does move around the screen, and it was right away. So let's just leave this for charging for now and move on to the next one, which is the model above this. Let's just have a look what we actually get. I'm not really sure what the differences is between the 205 and the 305, other than the color, of course. This one does have a reddish color, and yeah, this one is definitely damaged, or just looks very old. A lot of cracks throughout the whole bezel. A little unfortunate. Also feels a little sticky here on the plastic part. Actually looks quite nasty over here. I'm not really sure if I have left it in the bag too long, maybe in the sun or something like that. Definitely do feel very sticky over here. That's a little unfortunate. I believe I did test the watch when I actually got it. So let's just try and turn it on and see if it actually still will turn on. Nah, no light at all, but this one definitely have been worn quite a bit. The LED button there is almost worn down, or the labeling on there is worn down. So this watch definitely have gotten some more beating. But we do also have the charger included, the cradle, and a third-party power brick. No, actually, it is from Garmin. I'm not really sure why there's two different models here. Maybe the more expensive watch got the smaller charging brick. And you can see the charging brick there also have some damage to it. So definitely have not been maintained as well as the first one. But anyways, let's just have a look at the watches. So other than the labeling on the Forerunner 205 versus 305, have exactly the same buttons. And of course, just the color is a little bit different. There's actually some differences here on the back side. You can see on the 305, it does have, is that a speaker or a beeper, one more over here? Or maybe it's for some altimeter or barometer or something like that. And yeah, both of these watches are not really all that nice. There's a lot of sweat and so on accumulated in there. So definitely it could be nice to clean them. Not really sure if they're watertight, so I'm not really going to do that before we actually test them out. But that's definitely one difference. You can see over here on the 305 versus the 205. Else, pretty much identical. And the same exact straps. Very, very stiff. Actually, the 305 is just much more stiff. But I guess it's also been used quite a bit more. Let's just test if this one will charge. Yeah, battery charging. So let me just charge these two watches. Once they have charged for a period of time, I'll just get back and let's just get into the functions of these watches. So both of these watches have been charging for around 2 hours. You can see here in the display, it still says battery charging. So they still seem to charge the battery. But let's just get into it and have a closer look at these two watches and compare the differences. So chargers removed. And from what I can gather online, the difference between the 305 versus the 205 is that the 305 can also be used with a chest strap, as well as some other devices for cycling and so on. So it seems to have some kind of external connectivity wirelessly, versus the 205 doesn't really have that. I don't believe Garmin yet is using N+, so it's probably some other proprietary wireless connection, but that seems to be the only real difference between the two. But anyways, let's just get into it. Press the power button and see which watch actually start up fastest. Seem to be pretty close. And localizing satellites right out of the bat. I don't think they will really find anything indoors. So let's just try and hit the mode button. See, there are some differences there. I'm not really sure if this is the previous owner that have changed the layout of the system. So let's just first off go down and select English. So on the system, we can go in and select the different languages. Top of the page here. So English is the first one. And GPS is set to normal. Okay, either normal or GPS off. Now we should have English language. Let me just do the same on the other watch here. So we get into setup menu, go on the general. This one doesn't have the beeping noise when you press the buttons. And then you go into system. And from there you can change the language. And of course just choose the top one is English. So let's just try the 205 first. See how that is set up. Let's press the mode button. Cycle between the different modes. You can press up and down to cycle between pages. Pretty much in line with one of the activities on a newer Garmin watch. So you can cycle between the different pages. So you have time, distance, pace, and so on. However you set that up. I guess it's the same with this one. Actually quite a lot of information you can get here. Of course you have time, distance, calories, time of day, time again, distance, average pace, lap pace, current lap, lap distance, elevation as well. So it does have a altimeter of some sort. And then back to the first page. Not really sure if you can edit that directly from here. Change sport. Okay. So running, biking, and other. That's the only sporting activities we have right now. Or you can just set it to outdoor or indoor use. So that's pretty basic. And of course, start an activity. Just press start. Timer has started. And we don't have milliseconds, only seconds. And it does cycle between the screens. I believe you can just set that up inside the settings. Stop the exercise. And then what? Maybe hold the button. Save it. Nah. It only starts and or stop the timer. I guess there's no like saving. So if you want to start a new run, a new activity, how do you do that? I guess there's no real way of doing that. Timer started. Are you indoors now? No. Actually, I am indoors, but let's just select no. Oh yes, I have definitely moved 100 miles since the last. So yeah, of course the GPS can really find its position inside or indoors. I don't know how to actually save the activity, or if you can do so, maybe you have to sync it to the computer and then it will reset. Oh, actually it does say reset here, so I guess you could just hold this button. Then it will reset, and then you can start all over. So it's pretty basic. You also have some kind of mapping. Of course you don't have any actual maps, but you can tell on your screen where you've been, and I believe it does have some breadcrumb trail. So you can track your way back at least. Then you have the menu. Then you have the satellite screen, but you can see here no satellites found at all. Then we have the menu system here. So we have the history. Let's see if the running history. Totals. We only really have the last activity we just made here. So it doesn't really save any activities from the last owner, from previous owner. Probably because there was no power on here. Doesn't have a long time memory feature. But running, biking, and other, that's really the only thing. And other does have a little main. Skiing, I don't know if you can actually see that. So that's the only activities you can, of course, track. Of course, 16 years between this and the more modern watches. A lot of things have happened. But you also have battery status down there, and you can see what activity you set it at. If you hold in the mode button, then you can, of course, select biking instead. And you can see a little bike down here. So you know what activities you selected when you press start. Let's just leave it in running mode. So mode also takes you back. So that was history. You can see all your training history on the watch itself. Of course, you cannot sync it up with your smartphone. It only came years later. Training, the training options. You can set your alerts and so on. Of course, time distance alert and pace alert. You can set auto pause. So when you stop on a run, it will automatically pause your workout. We have auto lap. We have a virtual partner as well. That's pretty nice. And that's pretty much the only training options. We have workouts, we have quick, interval, or advanced. These buttons, man, definitely are very mushy. You have to press them in quite substantially to actually get them to register. So definitely not great buttons. So that's interval training here. You can set distance, rest, distance. And you can set your intervals here, and then the watch will tell you, of course, once you need to run fast or take it easy or a quick run. You can run of distance or time pace, and distance and pace. And courses, okay, so you can probably have courses on here. I'm not sure if you can actually load courses into the watch, or if these courses are just previous runs you've been on, and then you can reload them and run the same, or maybe run against yourself, see if you can run a little bit faster. You can see here we can create a new course, and that's pretty much all you can do. Just select run, done, space, and then you have to, of course, type in a number here. So let's just call it 9, run 0019. This is very inconvenient. And then you have to click done for it to be done. Yeah, very basic. Auto multisport, so you could add start a multisport. So I guess it just says other, or maybe it's for triathlons and so on. So it just has sports other. Go back. It just take me all the way back to training menu. And stop multisport. So now we'll stop the multisport running in the background. And then we have navigation as well. So you can mark a location. Then you can find a location as well. List all. We have Garmin. I guess you have to preload those, of course. What is nearest here? That is 004. And you can also go back to start, of course. Very useful if you are out running or hiking and so on, and just want to get back to where you originally started. That's one big advantage of having a GPS watch. Always find back. And we also have routes, but of course we don't have any right now. But I guess we could make one. Let's go to the Garmin headquarters. Let's use this one. And let's navigate. Okay, so that was navigation. Routes, satellites, of course. It does actually spot some satellites here in my area, even though we're indoors right now. Not sure if it can actually log onto some satellites. Let's just let this one see if we can find some satellites here while we take a look at the other watch. So that is navigation. Then of course we have settings. So we have the general settings. This is where you can actually set up the data fields. And you can have up to 4 data fields on each page. That's pretty nice. So from 1 to 4, and that's still something you can. Of course, you can have more data fields on newer modern watches, but still, the fact that you can actually set data fields up is pretty nice already back then. The second screen, of course, you can set up here, or the main 2. You have the running specific screen, so you can select between time and calories, distance, elevation, GPS accuracy, grade, laps, pace, sunrise, sunset, time, and that's pretty much it. And yeah, I believe it's the same for all the data fields. So pretty basic again, but actually still very usable. Today, if you had all these data fields on a modern watch, it will still be probably okay. Then we have the other data field for other activities. I guess it's just the same you can set up there. Yeah, it's exactly the same. Data fields, so that's definitely pretty nice. You can set those up and have separate data fields for running and biking, and also have up to 4 data fields on each screen. And actually the screen is still pretty readable. This is also, of course, under direct lighting, so pretty good lighting conditions. Let's just try and turn it off actually, and see if we can get some backlighting action going on there. My camera can barely focus on it. Let me just bring it a little bit closer maybe. Definitely does work. I can see it very clearly with my eyes. Camera, a little bit hard time focusing, but it is definitely very readable and very long duration backlighting as well. So yeah, backlighting definitely do work. It seems to work pretty well. So that was data fields. Then we have system settings. So GPS, you can set that to normal or GPS off. So that's pretty much the only setting you have. Of course, language we already took a look at. And tones, I guess that is for button presses. So your key presses and messages only. Let's just leave those off. User profile. Of course, you can set up your specific profile, your weight, when you were born. Not really sure if this is the previous owner. Probably is, but it could just be a default user. Then we have display, backlight, timeout. So you can set it up to stay on. So you can just keep it on, or up to 2 minutes maximum and 15 seconds minimum. In contrast, you can go all the way up to 100% contrast, but of course it will look very bad actually. So let's just leave it at 50%, which seems to be the default. But of course, if you need some more contrasty look, you can do so. And auto scrolling between the pages, you can leave that off. Slow, medium or fast. Data recording. Oh, already back then they had like smart recording or every second. I always set mine to every second, but smart recording is the default one. That's the same with like modern Garmin watches. I guess that feature have been on their watches ever since they began making GPS watches. Then we have maps. So track up, use location, show map, yes. Of course it doesn't have mapping. It's just a breadcrumb trail. You can also go in and set units. So you can select between metric and statute. Yes, yeah, the same for elevation and distance. And then of course we have the time. So 24 hours. You can set it between, of course, 12 and 24. And you can set your time zone here as well. And daylight savings time, pretty much the only settings we have here. And about Forerunner. So this is software version 2.90. GPS 3.0, and you can see the unit ID right there. So that's all the settings we have. Let's just have a look at the other watch, just for reference. Let's try and press the menu button or mode button, get into settings, and just see what kind of software this one is running. This one does have the noise on every button press. This is actually a little bit earlier firmware, so 2.70, and GPS version also a little bit earlier. But you can see one of the differences here in the screen. Right down there in the right corner of the 305, we do have an icon there flashing between a heart and also some kind of tools. So I guess it tells you have to go in and set up the heart rate sensor. Let's see if we can actually find that menu. So of course we have the same general, running, biking, other. We have pretty much the same setting here. Let's go into settings and general, running, biking, other. Let's go on the running, use this sport, extra weight, speed units, base, heart rate zones. So we do have those settings on the other watch as well. I'm not really sure why I missed those, because we were just into the general settings. But we do also have more settings here underneath. So let's just go through those quickly here. So we have running, biking, other. Running, use this, sport, yes. Extra weight, no. We can select that if you want to. Of course, if you have some weight vest on or weight on your neck or shoulders. Speed units, select that here as well. Pacing zone, slow walk, fast run, and so on. You can set all those parameters up here. And we do also have heart rate zone, but I believe heart rate zone, isn't that a specific feature for the 305? Yeah, you can see here, the 305 have the heart rate zone menu down there, versus the 205 only have the pace zone. So that's of course one of the differences between the two. You can actually measure your heart rate on the 305. And it seems like the earlier user had a heart rate of maximum of 199 beats per minute. Maybe this is just a default setting. Let's just browse through the menu of the 305. Let's have a look at biking. So use your sport, biking profile. So there's several profiles for your bike. Select the weight, of course, for your bike here. And speed units, miles per hour or kilometers per hour. Speed zones. Maybe somebody who's riding a bike knows more about this than me, but I guess you could set different speeds depending on the climb, of course. And then we have the heart rate zone as well here, so you can set up your maximum heart rate. And then we have the other, and that's pretty much the same settings as for the runner. But let's see if we can actually find the heart rate setup menu. The data field, system, user profile, display, data recording, accessories. So yeah, these are the accessories you can pair up with the 305. So you can pair it up with a heart rate monitor. So we can start scanning here, of course. And you can also pair it up with a cadence sensor and also a foot pod as well. So it seemed like the earlier owner of this watch actually had it paired up with a heart rate monitor, but that is selected yes. So these are the three sensors you can actually pair up. But like I said, I don't believe these are N+ sensors. I think they are proprietary just to this specific watch here from Garmin. So no like standardization of the wireless technology. I don't think they use Bluetooth either. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All the settings are the same except for the heart rate and cadence sensor and pod sensor you can actually pair up with the 305. But didn't really manage to find any satellites indoor. Also maybe a little much to ask. Of course, we've come a long way in these 16 years since these were on the market. I just couldn't really resist picking them up. Thought it would be a fun video to show you guys. If you used one of these watches back in the days, let me know down in the comments field below which watch you used and what feature you really enjoyed using with these watches. Or of course, if you had issues using these, I would imagine it would have taken a long time to actually get a GPS fix. But in terms of buying one of these watches and go out and run today using one of these watches, I will definitely not do so. Just get a more modern, cheaper Forerunner watch, pair it up with your smartphone, much better GPS accuracy, much faster at acquiring GPS signals, also much smaller and lighter and many more features and customizability. These are just like a novelty thing. I don't really have any use case for this, so I don't know really what I'm gonna use them for. Probably just end up recycling them. But that's pretty much all I had for this video. Just a overlook of these novelty watches from the Garmin. This is kind of where it all started. Like comparing to a modern watch, it just comes so long way. But that's pretty much all I have for this video. I hope to see you again in a future one. Until then, take care.